Hey guys, it's Hans Hobbies, and this is my second run with the Tamiya Bush Devil II. Um, I the first running video, the initial running video I posted about this, um, I didn't really get to run it in my backyard until around like halfway, a little bit more than halfway past my battery pack capacity. And with nickel metal packs, of course, the lower the capacity, the slower the truck goes. So it's a freshly charged 4200 milliamp hour six cell nickel metal hydride pack. It's running fully stock electronics and bushings and everything. This was an XB model, so pre-assembled, and I haven't taken out any of the bushings in it or anything. Still using the Tamiya plug, Tamiya ESC, Tamiya servo, even the Tamiya fine spec radio. The only thing I've changed is I painted the Tamiya logo and the fine spec logo on my radio, as well as put on this extension here that's included in the box for the trigger. Also, as you've seen, if you've seen my first running video, I also said I flipped around the power switch. That's right there. So now that I flipped it around, it off is like that, and then on is towards the rear of the truck, which is how I like to have my power switches set up. And then I put foam washers in under the body and the body post so the body doesn't rattle around and the paint doesn't get scratched off. And I also switched out the body clips for some larger ones because the stock body clips are very tiny. But yeah, we'll see how it runs. The pin spikes on the tires have been worn down a little bit, running it on the pavement earlier, but running it on mostly grass right now, they should last a little bit longer. It even has the stock friction shocks on it, so it's gonna be a very bouncy ride. Because the shocks on this are actually so short, it only has about as much suspension as you would find on like a buggy, like a low slung buggy, or maybe some RC rally cars or something like that. So not a lot of suspension travel, and that's mainly due to the fact that the front and rear clip designs for this was originally designed for a smaller truck. So that's kind of why. And then also they wanted the parts for this thing to be compatible with some other cars, which is why they decided to go with this design. You can get extended shock towers if you want to put like larger shocks on it, like something like a lunchbox size or something like that, or Blitzer Beetle size. You can do that, but I'm personally gonna keep this completely bone stock because this is one of my shelf queens. But my definition of shelf queen is I'm still gonna run it a lot. I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna make my best effort to make sure that it doesn't get completely destroyed, and the body doesn't get completely wrecked. But all of my shelf queens, quote unquote, all do the jumps just like any other truck or car. But if you've noticed, I always land my Tamiyas, or usually land my Tamiyas on grass or on my lawn, because the plastics that Tamiyas are made out of isn't like a nylon blend plastic, so it's not really going to like getting smashed into concrete. It's not going to survive as well as compared to like more modern nylon blend plastics. Also, with this thing having such a small amount of suspension travel, it can't really soak up the huge jumps anyway. So that's how I tend to drive these, most of the time anyway. Tamiya's alternative to getting really durable plastics is by making them out of softer plastic. Instead of a nylon blend, they'll use kind of like a rubbery plastic. which is good for A-arms and stuff, for durability, like how this one's set up. But of course, that's not very good for not a very good material to make like shock towers or chassis out of. So Tamiya chassis and shock towers and stuff are pretty stiff ABS plastic. They are relatively durable, but it's definitely not gonna survive like a more modern car is. So that's just something to keep in mind. You know, in my personal life, I have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stress, a lot of sadness, but driving my Tamiyas, even in my backyard like this, in a nice day like this, it definitely helps me calm down and help me appreciate the little things. If you guys are wondering, I will be doing a kind of like a review for this, but not like my typical reviews. I'm gonna be doing a review of this. It's kind of similar to the Buyer's Guide series from Ampro Engineering, if anyone have seen that, where I'll kind of go over the history of the chassis, different things you can do about the chassis, different tips and tricks and stuff like that. Because I do have, I don't know how this happened, but I do have 2 other WT01 cars coming in. So I'll definitely be able to do a buyer's guide of it. I do have most of these at this point. Just like a quick history lesson about this thing is there are a number of versions of this truck. There is the Blackfoot Extreme, which I believe was the original version. And then this is not in any particular order, but then they also had the Mad Bull, and another monster truck that I haven't actually seen before. The Mad Bull and the other one, I forgot what it was called, but those 2 are XP only models. And then the Blackfoot Extreme came as a XP and as a kit, as well as the Bush Devil II and the Mud Blaster II were also XP and kits. And then they have the Amarok, which is the WT01N, which is like a narrow version. So quite a number of trucks have come out on this chassis, and it is definitely a cool chassis. It's just not to the point where it's a fan favorite or like a classic yet, because it's not quite as old as like some of the cars like the Sand Scorcher. Sorry about the plane. Like the Sand Scorcher or the Hornet or Lunchbox or something like that. But I suspect once people my age and people in my generation start to get into their 30s, so probably like a decade from now, you'll probably start seeing these things get re-released and people be nostalgic for these. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my battery pack and my Bush Devil II. But that's it for this running video. A lot of people have been enjoying my Tamiya running videos, so it makes me happy to see that they're enjoying it. People are enjoying it. And if you guys want to see more of this, more other general RC stuff, check out my channel, subscribe, comment down below, give me a like. I like YouTube shenanigans. And sorry about the shaky cam, and I'll see you guys next time.